describe how the core actually works. And if you think about that pelvis, we understand now that it needs to be that foundational anchor. Okay, it has to have that property of being stable in order to allow the rest of the body to have something sturdy to pull against. Okay, and so I like to think of it as a tug of war team anchor. And so if you think about a tug of war team, you get your biggest guy, right, on the team, takes the rope, hunkers down in the sand, wraps the rope around his waist, okay, really digs in and gets ready to create that anchor for the rest of the team, right? We've got muscles on either side of our rope, and they're all going to be working together to pick up a grocery bag, okay? And the grocery bag has a cantaloupe propped right on top, okay? So this is going to be our movement that we're going to pull off. We need our pelvis to be a strong, sturdy anchor so every member of the team can do their job well. And the reality is each of those muscles relies on the muscle behind them in order to do their job well. They each need to stack their response on a stable, sturdy center, okay? And everybody relies on the guy behind them. Alrighty, so this is really ultimately a cascade of force that begins on the inside and works all the way out to the distal extremity so we can pull off that lift. Okay, so here we go. Our anchor digs in, ropes wrapped around the waist, and the pelvis is ready before the gun goes off, and then right as the gun's about to go off, the pelvis stands up. We lost our anchor. What happens to the rest of the team? Does the grocery bag get picked up? What do you think? Want to venture a guess? No? I don't know. Probably yes. They got to get to the daycare, right? They got to pick up their kids. They got to get the groceries in the car. They got to go. How do they make that happen? Compensation. Excellent. So they have to substitute something for what's missing at the center. So that means what? Overuse, right? Somebody's going to have to do their job and somebody else's job in order to pull off that lift. That's what we see every day clinically, right? I think little red shirt girl is the one that's working the hardest. Okay, I think she's the one that's doing most of the compensation. Okay, this is your patient's jaw. This is your patient's shoulder. Okay, wherever your patient habitually overcompensates for what's missing at the center is where you're going to see a caseload. This is going to build your caseload right here. A lot of little red shirt girls, and it's just depending on what you, how their body chooses to compensate is what they're going to manifest as symptoms. Okay, but does she just need shoulder exercises? Right? If it's the patient's shoulder, we have to address the shoulder all the way back here and work our way out. Alrighty? Now let's take this analogy a little bit further and think this through in terms of how the rest of the team is working. And we've got our anchor set. We actually managed to pull up our cantaloupe bag, and the cantaloupe starts to roll. Okay, and it's taken off this way. So we have to catch it, right? So which side of the team has to work harder to catch that cantaloupe? Which one? Yes, contralateral, exactly, okay? And so we have a non-uniform response from the team, right? These guys cannot be asked to perform this in a static way. This guy has to act at a different vector than this guy, right? Are you guys following me? So this is not a uniform response because function is never static, right? Function has a dynamic quality always. And so we need to be able to prepare this system to not only have stability, but we also have to prepare it to have flexibility, to have a functional, to meet the demands of function. Does that make sense? Okay? And so we have the response is ever changing, and we need the system to mimic that. Okay? So I like to call the system that helps control the center the anticipatory core, because they're setting up that stability before the movement begins. And then the rest of the team I like to think of as the reactive core. They're reacting to the demands of the task. Okay, so we have a system in place that works from the inside out that has the capacity to pull off stability and meet the demands of function, which are ever changing. But we need to build clinical models that mimic that. Okay, that's what we're going to be talking about today.